All right, folks, this is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Time to get the show started. Let's go. Hey, and good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Coming to you each and every day, folks, here in the city of Las Vegas, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, folks, think living local. That's right. And the return of cool, of course. That's right, folks. And, I just cleaning my glasses off here a little bit. No matter what you do, you can never get your glasses clean enough, man. And today is a very, very special day. I was talking to my wife about it this morning. That today is actually Take a Jamaican to Lunch Day. Okay, so maybe it's not Take a Jamaican to Lunch Day, but if you'd like to take a Jamaican to Lunch Day, today is the day you want to do it. And since I'm the only Jamaican you probably know, anyways, I want to welcome all of our friends on Facebook who are coming by and you're checking us out. Looks like we got another person joined the group Our Living in Vegas page. Thank you so much for joining us. Definitely say hello if you see us on our Facebook pages or you see us on Black Success Magazine. And we're actually going to be, hopefully, we'll be making an announcement here pretty soon that we were able to actually, I don't know, inherit, I guess is probably a good word, another Facebook page, which is great. I'm very excited about that. And it's something near and dear to my heart, so which is even better. We'll make that announcement as soon as it's finalized and everything else, and hopefully that will happen today. So will happen. But if you're on our Facebook pages, you're watching us on YouTube, definitely, folks, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Definitely like us on Facebook, Twitter. A lot of people ask me about this, and we've been talking about it last week, that if you want to see what we do in the evenings, generally we're on Twitter in the evenings. So generally in the evening, something's going on. We're not in the office, generally out in the streets. So I like a cat, like a pole cat, out in the streets, running around all over the place. And so check us out on Twitter. So at Living in Vegas, and you can check us out on there. And yes, so there we go. I think we're all up and good. If you'd like to say hello in the morning on any of our Facebook pages, don't hesitate, folks. Don't even hesitate. Say hello. Be friendly. And we'd love to say hello to you. You're on, especially if you're on our Facebook group page. Generally, we got a lot more people there. Definitely a lot of people on that group page. I don't know. We're closing up on 850. We'd love to get that up to 1,000 people, folks. 1,000 people would be great. And who is that said hello? Hey, Vicky. Good morning to you, Miss Miller, Sergio, Vicky, Miller, Sergio, and good morning to you. I know people are going, how do you see me? And I go, well, I am all seeing. I've got the all seeing eye, I guess. So definitely say hello. We'd love to give you a shout out. Let's pay a bill really quick here, and then we're going to start talking about the show and all the things that are going on with Living in Vegas. So let's do this. Hi everybody, it's Sherman Ray for Living in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Yeah, and folks, Vegas Livin Expos is accepting vendors right now, folks. And we've got a special right now through the end of actually through the middle of July, which gives you about a week. We've lowered the price for vendor booths. Okay, so vendor booths are normally about $325. We've lowered them just for like another week or so, to $200. Yeah, we started July 1st. We told you we were going to give you a special announcement. We did that. So if you'd like to be a vendor at our upcoming Vegas Livin Expos, $200. All you got to do is contact me. Okay, at info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com. Or you can send an email to vegaslivinexpos@gmail.com. That's vegaslivinexpos@gmail.com. And you can be a part of our upcoming expo that we're going to have over at the Cannery Casino. That's August 3rd, so it's right around the corner. Can't be, I don't think it comes soon enough. We've had such an up and down climate as far as the economy goes. We need a shot in the arm. We just need a shot in the arm. And so we are doing that. Oh, so sorry, folks. I went out riding this morning again. And maybe I was a little tighter than I thought. I had a great ride, though. Just a great ride. It's actually, even though it's in the 80s, it's actually very cool, which is actually very nice. You come in, you're feeling great. I felt all pumped up and stuff like that. So that was cool. Some of you are wondering who the heck I am. Once again, my name is Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine, and this magazine is out. This is the current edition of Livin in Vegas magazine. Just came out hot off the presses July 1st, and we want to thank our main sponsor for the magazine this quarter, which is Nathan Hall. He is the owner, what do you call it? I don't know, the chief guy over at Bad Beat Brewery. Great story. I mean, you really got to check out the story about Bad Beat Brewing. It is just an amazing story. It's inside this issue. Also, stories about John Ponder's in it. So John Ponder is the founder of Hope for Prisoners, which is just a fantastic organization. Many of you have heard me speak about Hope for Prisoners many, many times, and we thought that it was probably a good idea to get John in there to talk about what he's doing and what has happened in the last couple of months to the organization. Just fantastic. Also, article about Suzette and her husband Chris Demery. They are the owners of GNC, and so you've got to read that story. We actually did a video with them, did an interview with them, but right about a month ago that we've already aired it. But you can actually check it out. You can still see it on our website over at livininvegas.com. And if you ever miss a video that we've done here, go to our website at livininvegas.com. Down the page a little bit, folks. It's right there. There's a bunch of videos down there. I mean, just archives and archives of videos. And people go, Sherm, how do you do so many videos? I go, well, it's kind of, it adds up. It's what we do. As a matter of fact, I put up a picture because we're hiring over at Livin in Vegas. Let's do that real quick. So we're hiring. Oh, let's do this first. So we also have another magazine that we do, which is called Livin Weekly. So Livin Weekly magazine, this is actually the front cover for it. And actually it kind of looks like that. It's got a little more gray in the background. I see what happened. So this is what's cool. It's closer to that. So the return of cool, folks. We talk a little bit about the Rat Pack in this edition, which I'm very excited about. Because I love the Rat Pack, what these guys did. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, all the stuff those guys did. Sammy Davis Jr. Let me tell you a little quick story about Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra, okay? And it's not in the magazine. We're going to bring it out, but I think you really want to hear the story. So years and years ago, before either one of these guys were, the stars that we know them now, Sammy Davis Jr. since he was a little kid, literally, since the time he could get out of bed, has been an entertainer. And he was a part of a vaudeville team. So he's a mime, he's a singer, he's a dancer, he does all this stuff. plays 3 or 4 instruments. And what he did was he had a show over in Harlem, in New York. Frank Sinatra, at the same time, before he was Frank Sinatra, was doing a gig down in New York, and he heard about Frank Sinatra, or heard about Sammy Davis Jr., and he went down to Sammy's show to see what Sammy was doing. Of course, he loved it, thought, boy, this is the greatest thing in the world. He waited backstage for Sammy, introduced himself, and said, hey, you need to come to my show. And Sammy goes, oh, great, I'll come to your show. A week passes by. Frank says he didn't hear anything from Sammy. Another week passes by. He goes, what the heck happened? I haven't seen this guy at my show. Frank Sinatra goes back to Sammy's show and goes, hey, what's up? I invited you to my show. Why didn't you come? He says, and Sammy says, he goes, well, I did come to your show. Now you got to think about this. This is like in the 40s. He said, I did come to your show, but they wouldn't let me in. So Frank invites Sammy to his show. The people at the theater that Frank Sinatra was playing at would not allow Sammy Davis Jr., a black guy in the 40s, to come in to see Frank Sinatra's show. What did Frank do? He tore up his contract, left the show, said, I'll never perform here again because you didn't let my friend, the black guy, Sammy Davis Jr., back in. This went on with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. throughout his career. Copacabana wouldn't allow Sammy Davis Jr. to come in. Frank said, I'm not playing here. Here in Las Vegas, they said, hey, Sammy, we don't have room for you to stay at the hotel. Frank said, give him my room. Whatever you got to do, Sammy Davis Jr. will play here. As a matter of fact, the Moulin Rouge, many of you know about the Moulin Rouge. The Moulin Rouge, very famous casino here, was very short-lived here in Las Vegas. On many occasions, you could see the Rat Pack over at the Moulin Rouge after hours because they would not allow Sammy Davis Jr. in those days, the early 50s, 60s. They would not allow black people to hang out in the casinos here in Las Vegas. I know, surprise, surprise. If you wanted to go see a good show, though, you would go to the Moulin Rouge. That's where the Rat Pack was hanging out. Frank, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., that kind of stuff. And so years later, somebody stopped Frank Sinatra and they go, hey, dude, what's the deal with you and Sammy Davis Jr.? You keep turning down these contracts, you keep doing this. Now, the Rat Pack, once again, had been around since the 50s all the way through the 80s. Okay, this is how long the Rat Pack was around. Arguably, to me, in my eyes, actually, they probably did more to shape Las Vegas than even Elvis did. Okay, that's saying a lot. But if you're thinking about the coolness factor, Elvis was like, hey, what's up? But if you're talking about the coolness factor, Dean, Frank, Sammy. That's it. That was all there was to it. That was the coolness factor. They asked Frank, they said, Frank, what is up with you and Sammy Davis Jr.? Frank's famous 3-word answer, he's my brother. Bam. And that's why he kept doing what he did, because he says, Frank said, Sammy Davis Jr., he's my brother. He loved him. That's a bromance. Boom. I'll tell you, I think that says all there is to say about Las Vegas, the return of cool, the Rat Pack. Just says it all. Love it. I love that story. Don't you love that story? I do. Let's talk one more thing we'll talk about. We're going to break. If you'd like to watch the rest of the show, folks, go to our website, which is livininvegas.com. You can check out the rest of our show. Okay, I think you'll love it. You're going to love the rest of it. But we'll break. One last thing before we break. Remember a little over a month ago, the folks who are the owners of the rights to the Elvis persona, okay? If you want to be an Elvis performer, or you want to have his music out or something like that, you have to go through this one company, and they say yay or nay. Well, Las Vegas has been the wedding capital of the world for decades, and we have Elvis themed weddings. Well, this company sent a cease and desist order to places like the Little Chapel of the West, you know, all these chapels that have these Elvis themed weddings, and said you can't do that anymore. There's no way you can do this anymore. And so, of course, people were up. They were outraged. You're going, you got to be kidding me. This is how we build our entire weddings around this Elvis persona. Evidently, they came to an agreement, and now they are paying the chapels are now paying a licensing agreement to do Elvis weddings. So turned out pretty good. Not too bad. Anyways, folks, if you'd like to watch the rest of the show, definitely go to our website. Okay, go to our website at livininvegas.com, and you can watch the rest of this show. We'll have it up in about another 15, 20 minutes or so. But until then, folks, I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. If you'd like to get the magazine, go to our website, livininvegas.com. Okay, livininvegas.com. If you like our Livin Weekly magazine, same place. Go to livininvegas.com, and you can get all of that. Find out about Livin Expos, everything that you want to find out about us at Livin in Vegas, you can find out there. Okay, we come to you Monday through Friday. We talk to you about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of Livin in Vegas, folks, think Livin Cool. This has been Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas magazine, The Return of Cool. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. All right, folks. This is Sherman Ray. I am back, folks. I am just love this, folks. Thank you all for joining us for the rest of the show. Got so much more to talk about. We really do. Just got so much more to talk about. What do we want to talk about here? Let's sort of talk about this, folks. We are hiring here at the at S-Ray Media Group LLC. That's the parent company of Livin Vegas Magazine, Livin Weekly, the podcast, all the stuff we do. And so we're looking for outside salespeople, commission sales staff. We're looking for content providers, all that kind of stuff. If you've ever wanted to get into media, folks, this is the time to do it. There's no doubt about it. We have got the great platform, and we're adding all the time to what we do. And so, but we're looking for people who want to have some fun. I mean, I have a great time. The rest of our staff has a great time doing what we do. And if you would like to be a part of it, just contact us. Let's put up our email address. Okay, can we put that up there? Let's put that up there. All you got to do is contact me over at where's the email address? Bam. Info livininvegas.com. That's info at livininvegas.com. If you would like to be a part of S-Ray Media Group and talk about producing all the stuff that we do here on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, I'll tell you that we're gonna do some crazy stuff in the next couple of months. And frankly, folks, just need more of us. Just need more of us to do it. I'm talking with people all the time who say, yes, I want to be a part of it. And if you've ever wanted to get in media, you want to get into TV production, podcasting, the whole thing that we're going to be doing, magazine production, of course, we do that a lot, advertising, contact us, info at livininvegas.com, and you can be a part of this whole thing. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about this weekend. So this weekend, we had 4th of July, and a lot of animals they just jumped out the windows. They just got scared. Some of them just got so freaked out and they just ran off. Well, the animal shelter is basically saying, hey, look, we've got a lot of these animals. How many animals do they got? Oh, my gosh. 559 lost, frightened animals. Oh, gosh. And they are waiving the fee, the reunification fee. So they're going to waive that fee to get your dog back. Okay, because a lot of people, the dog either went straight out in the street, animal control caught him, or next door neighbor, somebody down the street says, "Hey, I got this dog, I got this cat, whatever," and go down to the Animal Foundation and you can actually get your pet back, which is great. I will also leave a link to this on our website at livinginvegas.com. So if you're watching the rest of the show, look above us here at some of the articles there. You'll actually see the link to the Animal Foundation for Lost and Found, and so you can actually get your home back. Do we have time? Yeah, I got time. So there's a home. It's called the Heartland Mansion. And I know some of you are going, wait a minute, why does that sound so familiar? The Heartland Manage, or Mansion 54, as some people know it, it's located east of the Arts District area. It's been scheduled to be taken down, demolished. Okay, it was just sold to a new owner, and the new owner of the place, owns. His name is Lanny Dean Love. He's the owner of the adult superstores. He bought the place. I don't know, a couple months back. He bought it for about $4 million. But this building, this is how important this building is. On a register of places that are historic buildings, this is one of those buildings. It was built in 1954, or excuse me, 1940s is when it was built. Elvis stayed there, Michael Jackson, bands, Frank Sinatra. They filmed movies there, that kind of stuff. Grammy gospel winner Tony Hart purchased the home in the 80s. They renovated it, got it really just looking great. It's got like a circular stairway, that kind of stuff. Just a grand place. Swimming pool, gold artifacts, all that kind of stuff. Well, it's gonna be torn down, and the fire department said, "Look, we're in the now." Okay, so here's my deal with what we do here in Vegas. There are very few buildings in Las Vegas that we have designated as historical buildings, and that are still here from the early days of Las Vegas. Very few. Now this is a problem, okay? Because a lot of people don't understand, don't have any sense of nostalgia for Las Vegas for that reason, is because we tear down everything. I remember when the circus, not well, circus, but the convention center. I remember when the convention center was just a little bitty globe out over off Paradise. Okay, it was just a little bitty. It was just a little bit. It looked like Lost in Space. Just a little. That's all the convention center was just this little bitty building. And in the '60s, my mom took us there to go to see the roller derby, wrestling, anything that was everything was out at the convention center. And in those days, I think the convention center probably held 100 people. No, something. It was much more than that, but it was very, very small. You could drive up to the convention center, right up to the doors. The same thing with the old Dunes Hotel. The Dunes Hotel now is a Bellagio. You ain't getting nowhere near that front door with your car. But when I was a kid, you could drive right up to the casino door, park your car, walk 5 feet into the casino. That's the old Vegas I remember. The golf course, if you turned your back, look towards I-15. And in those days, I-15 was just a 2-lane road, back and forth. This is the 60s, okay? So you got to understand this. That you could see the golf course. You'd have to look over the golf course to see the freeway, which was just off in the distance. Well, needless to say, all that stuff is gone. It's just all gone. It's all been demolished, made way for new things, and it's good. That's a good thing, okay? But there are some buildings that probably should stay. Just should stay. The Huntridge Theater, which I'm so grateful for, is staying. The new owners of the Huntridge Theater said, hey, we're going to make it better than it was. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful, iconic. Well, at least they're keeping the general shape of the thing, and that is important. But this mansion, they're going to demolish this thing, and people have no idea what they're going to put there. They just have no idea. I'm guessing You heard it here first. That based upon who bought the building, Lanny Dean Love's adult stores, I have a feeling they're going to probably put something fairly similar like that there. I may be wrong. I've been wrong before, not very many times, but I've been wrong before. I would suspect that they're probably going to put something along the lines of an adult type superstore there. So I'm going to go out there today and I'm going to go take some pictures of the building before it's gone. I am. So I've got my camera in hand here, and I know I don't bring it out a lot, but I got my camera in hand, and I'm going to go out there and take some pictures of it today. Like it's my homage to Sammy Davis Jr. Okay, it's my homage to Sammy, because Sammy. Many of you don't know this, but I do a lot of background on people that I really admire, and Sammy Davis Jr. was one of those guys. Evidently, Sammy Davis Jr. was taking pictures since the time he was a little kid. He had a little brownie. Many of you know what a brownie is. And he kind of moved up the ranks to some of the big stuff that he ended up using. He has, and we'll talk more about this, and we're working on a story about his love affair with cameras. And I have a love affair with cameras too. He's much better than I will ever be, just because that he got it. It just became a fixation with him. But he took pictures all over the world, every place he went to, and some of the iconic places he went to. And so I think it's probably a good thing to go out there and take pictures of the mansion, this mansion before it goes down, because unfortunately we've got too many of these buildings that have just gone, and you just never see them again. Okay. Do we have time? Yeah, we got time. So many of you know about Carlos Santana. So Carlos Santana lives here in Las Vegas, has played in the House of Blues for years and years and years. Great guy. And Carlos is what, 70 now? 75? How old is the guy? Carlos is in his 70s, 74. He was playing out in Michigan on Tuesday, fainted, collapsed. So they said he's fine now, but he had heat exhaustion. He was just tired, just overcome with the heat, and hopefully he'll be fine. He'll be back to Vegas. So Carlos, that's a wet heat. You need to be out here in the dry heat. So this is the funny thing about it. Now Carlos lives here. We are in 150 degrees all the time, and he's fine, just fine. Okay, he's just great. Goes out in Detroit. They got 80 degrees. It's hot. Okay, it's a different heat. You need to be home. So come home, Carlos, before we don't have such a good story about you, and we want you back here in Las Vegas. Speaking of Las Vegas, guess who's coming to Vegas? President Trump. Friday. Former President Donald Trump. He'll be here. I think he's going to be at Treasure Island. Yeah, going to be at Treasure Island on Friday, 5 p.m. As a matter of fact, I had people calling me up. That's probably why they're calling me. They're going, "Hey, Sherman, you want to go to see the president?" I've seen the president. I saw him before he was a president. Same thing with Mike Pence, and they were on the campaign trail. Now, many of you don't know this, but I have a very deep religious past, a spiritual past, and so I am been dubbed that guy that will pray for you. I'll just grab you, start speaking in tongues, and so they needed someone. I got invited to meet. At the time, he was just governor, Mike Pence, and they said, "Hey, Sherm, would you like to go to a rally because Mike Pence is going to be there?" And I said, "Well, sure, I'll go." I was out in Henderson, and there was a pastor there. His name is Pastor Troy, who evidently was supposed to open up. So all these rallies, they have somebody prays and they open up the rally, and Troy wasn't there yet. So they looked over at me and they go, "Hey, Sherm, you can pray, right?" And I go, "Sure, yeah, I'll got no problem with that at all." And so, and then at the last second, Troy shows up and they said, "Don't worry, Sherm. Next event we have, if you're there, we'll have you open it up." I go, "Yeah, whatever. It's no big deal. I'll pray anyways. Doesn't matter." And so the next one, Donald Trump was coming to Las Vegas. And they called me up. They go, Sherm, we'd like you to open up the event for Donald Trump. And like I said, this was on the campaign trail, so this is 2016. And I said, sure, I'd love to. And I did. I got to open up the rally, one of the first rallies he ever had here in Las Vegas. Actually, I think it was the first rally he ever had in Las Vegas. I got to open up the first rally that Donald Trump did, and I was the guy who prayed to open it up. They're, for some reason, they're calling me up again. I'm wondering, I got a phone call yesterday. That's why. I didn't answer my phone. I saw it and I went, I'm not going to even answer the phone. I didn't. I was busy. I have a feeling that's probably why they're calling me to say, hey, Sherman, would you like to open up another? Anyways, we're out of time, folks. We're over time. Okay. So anyways, we will see you again tomorrow, folks. Love to hear from you. If you'd like to hear any more about living in Vegas, you know where to get a hold of us. Just send me an email at info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com, and get a hold of me. It's been Sherman Ray for Living in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, think living local and the return of cool, folks. I'll see you again tomorrow, folks, when we talk more about the city of Las Vegas.